and also for the PhD students for the Department of Fruit Science, and also for the BSc Horticulture as well as BSc Agriculture students. Madam also coordinated in the release of 2 banana varieties, namely Coimbatore 2 and also Coimbatore 3, and also 1 medicine coleus variety, that is TNAU coleus 1 through SVRC. And she is also the scientist in charge for the maintenance of a banana field gene bank at TNAU Coimbatore, and she has handled more than 10 externally funded research projects funded by the DST, DBT, PPV, and FRA, and also the private agencies as a PI and also co-PI, along with the scientists from other disciplines. As a chairman, she has guided 10 MSc students in the Department of Fruit Science as a major advisor, and she has published 5 books, 11 book chapters, and also research articles in the reputed journals. And she has awarded Dr. C.R. Muthan Medal for the best student who scores highest marks in all horticulture crop subjects in 1999. And she also got Best Teacher Award for the year 2020 by the TNAU Coimbatore. And apart from that, she also got a Young Scientist Award at the International Horticulture Conference, which was organized by CH&RI TNAU Coimbatore and also for the promotion of horticulture science and technology. So apart from that, she also presented the best poster presenter and also the best oral presenter also in various seminars and also conferences. So with this brief introduction, I request our Kavitha madam to present today's topic on irrigation and also fertigation management in banana.
So good afternoon, everyone. I'm very glad to be a part of this Banana Graduate Readiness Program organized by Dr. YSR University. And special thanks to Dr. Ramanandam sir, who have been asking me for this lecture. So thank you everyone for giving this opportunity. Let me start my lecture, sir.
Okay, madam.
So I couldn't share post disabled participant screen sharing. It's coming.
Madam, just now I have enabled. Please try again.
Okay. Sir, is the slides visible?
Yes, madam, it is visible.
Okay. So I'm here to present or share few things on irrigation and fertigation management in banana. So all the participants, students, you would have been attending the various lectures for the past 1 month, I hope so, on banana especially. So coming to the introduction, 3 to 4 slides, you'll be having the basic introduction part of banana. So we all know it is an important fruit of the tropical region, which has been originated in the Southeast Asia. And it is a very important tropical fruit. And it is the only tropical fruit which has been exported in large quantities when compared to the other crops. And this is the fruit which leads in the international trade. And
madam, a small request, madam, please switch on your video mode. Video mode.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, madam.
Okay. So what makes banana so important? Why we talk more on banana? The major thing are year-round availability and affordability by various sector of people, and the wide varietal range and its delicious taste along with nutritive and medicinal value makes it as a favorite fruit crop among all the classes of people. And it is a vigorously growing monocotyledonous herb, which the life cycle of which it completes within an year, and in some of the varieties it may extend to, in red banana like which it may extend up to 15 to 16 months. Otherwise, all the varieties, most of the varieties, their this life cycle, it is by within 1 year, and among the fruit crops, this is very highly productive, and with very less time, the grower will be able to get more income. And it is the fourth most important global food commodity next to your milk, rice, and wheat. And this fruit is easy to digest, and it is also free from fat and cholesterol. And since each and every part of this fruit crop is used in a way or other, it is also called as Kalpataru, that is tree of virtue, and other names are Adam's fig, tree of wisdom, tree of paradise, and apple of paradise. So coming to its nutritive value, it is one of the richest source of energy, which offers about 350 to 550 kilojoules per 100 gram of edible pulp. And it is also a good source of minerals like potassium, phosphorus, calcium, and magnesium, along with vitamins B, C, and K. So 73% of the fruit, 100 gram of food pulp, it comprises of moisture, 25 to 30% is carbohydrate, and with 1.4% protein and 0.3% fat. So what for it is used? Mostly banana is used for dessert purpose as a table fruit, and some varieties or some species are also used for production of fiber, as well as some of the ornamental bananas are used for ornamental purposes. And apart from this table and dessert purpose, so it is we go in for making many of the processed products like chips, toffee, puri, baby powder, flour, vinegar, jam, jelly, and even many products have this fig, banana fig, and banana pseudostem pickle, banana flour pickle. So many processed products are being developed in banana, and it is getting more marketability also in the recent time. And apart from this fruit, flower bud and central core of the pseudostem is also used for culinary purposes. And other than that, banana leaf and leaf sheets are used, and banana fiber is also used for making attractive napkins, table mats, and carry bags. And the fruit is mainly used for as a part of medicinal property. It is used for treating acidity, ulcer, joint pains, high blood pressure, and it is also used as laxative. So coming to the role of India in banana export or production. So we all know that India is one of the major country where you find diversified bananas, and it is the prime producer, and followed by other countries like China, Kenya, Uganda, Sudan, and the list goes on. Though India stands first in banana production, the export of banana from India is very less. That is, the production of banana in India, it is about 32.45 million tons, and the total acreage is about 9.24 lakh hectares, and the average productivity as a whole in India, it is only 36.52 metric tons per hectare. And here, it occupies 20% of the total area and the fruit crops, and it contributes to about 32% of total fruit production in India. And it is the second major fruit crop in India next to mango. So the major producers or producing states are Andhra Pradesh, it leads in area and production, and Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka are the other states which grow major area in banana. So coming for the export, so though we have the pride that India stands first in banana production, but however, only 0.1%, less than 0.1% of banana is exported. And when we talk about our contribution in the international trade, banana trade, it accounts for less than 0.3%. And this is mainly due to here, as far as India is concerned, here we won't go in for large area of, we don't have larger plantation of bananas. Here, this area is the Indian banana industry is based on large number of small independent farmers typically cultivating less than 3 acres. That is, we don't go in for large scale commercial cultivation of banana, and we consume more banana what we produce than we export. But nowadays, during the last decade, this traditional varieties of bananas are gaining much popularity, or there is a growing demand for our traditional varieties, traditional banana varieties in the Middle Eastern countries like Iraq, Kuwait, and all, where this thing, it helps. It is a significant development in the trade of banana, where we can try for boosting our exports. So if we want to focus that, if you want to improve our exports, so what we have to do, we have to go in for sustainable production of banana. That is, now we need to increase the productivity. I have told you that is our average productivity is around only 36 tons. But granine, the potential of granine, when we follow all the cultivation practices, when we adapt the practices precisely or judiciously, we will be able to harness the productivity of about 60 tons. That is the potential of that variety. But except in few states, or except in few places, we were not able to achieve the potential yield of the variety. So what we can do? So the thing here comes is, we need to go in for, or we need to educate the farmers, or we need to educate the growers. So for judicious application of the inputs. So coming to the inputs, since the topic given to me is on irrigation and fertigation, so we all know it is a crop which responds positively to water as well as the nutrient, whatever we apply. So the quantity of nutrient or the quantity of water we apply at the critical crop stages will be resulted, or the plant will show off that application of water as well as fertilizers or the nutrients in its yield. So that growth, development, and yield can be this water as well as nutrients, they have a direct impact on the yield. Thereby, by utilizing these two inputs properly or precisely or judiciously, we can realize the actual potential yield of the specific commercial variety what we cultivate. So, and this sustainable banana production, this will help to improve our yield or the productive potential of our plantation, and without doing any harm to the environment. So this is the area what we have to concentrate. And so coming to the water requirement, so here water deficit or stress, this you can put it as water deficit or stress. This water is very important for crop growth and yield. So if any water stress or deficit is found, if it is found in any of the crop growth stages, that is either during the early growth stage or during the flowering, or that is shooting, or during bunch development, this will directly, it will reflect, or negatively it will impact on the yield of the crop. And all these things, the early growth, flowering, bunch development, and yield, all these are determined during the establishment and the early phase of vegetative period. That is, conventionally banana has been propagated by suckers. So now we say that tissue culture plants can also be used, but the rate of tissue culture plant adaptation is very less when compared to that of the suckers. So as far as suckers are concerned, so the early stage of establishment of the suckers, the root development, and that stage, if proper water is not given for the early phase of development, then that may impact the vegetative growth as well as the reproductive growth and the yield potential. So drought or water stress during the vegetative phase, it negatively impacts the rate of leaf development, that is phyllochron is affected, and which indirectly impact on the number of hands, bunch size and weight. And during flower differentiation, it may hinder leaf and fruit production. And during fruit development, if any unavoidable drought or water stress is imposed, they may impact on the fruit size and also the quality. So altogether, water stress or drought during any of the vegetative phase or the growth and development phase will have a direct impact on negative impact on the yield of the crop. So for that, for proper vegetative growth and for proper growth and development of the plant, we should go in for application of irrigation water judiciously. So judicious water management is important in banana for achieving the potential yield. And this judicious water management can be done. How? By balancing, specific balance should be maintained between the soil moisture content as well as the water requirement of the plant. So this has to be carefully handled. So for a banana crop, so it needs total, for completing its life cycle, the total water requirement is about 900 to 1200 millimeters. So this water requirement can be obtained from two sources. One is from natural precipitation, that is from rainfall, as well as we can go in for supplementary irrigation. So this, as far as banana crop cultivation is concerned, we say a region where 1500 millimeter or 150 centimeter of annual rainfall, and that too, that annual rainfall should be distributed throughout the year. So when the rainfall is distributed throughout the year, and if it is around 150 centimeter or 1500 millimeter, it will be effective for, or that will be satisfactory for obtaining, satisfactory for proper growth and for obtaining proper yield in banana. So if not, why we should give so much of emphasis on irrigation? So that thing is, we all know it is a monocotyledonous plant, and here the root system is very sparse as well as it is very shallow, and the feeder roots in banana is concentrated to about 0.75 meter. That is around most of 70 to 80% of the feeder root will be concentrated in the top 50 centimeter, that is 0.5 meter. So maximum water is obtained, and this crop will also absorb most of its water from top 0.5 to 0.8 meter soil depth. And this 0.3 meter, from the depth of 0.3 meter, that is 30 centimeter, it contributes for about 60% of the water requirement. So when there is maximum evapotranspiration, that is for about 5 to 6 millimeter per day. So in such cases, 35% depletion of soil moisture. So that soil moisture depletion should not exceed more than 35%. If it exceeds more than 35%, then what will happen? It negatively impacts on the growth as well as the fruit production of the crop. So based on the soil type, so based on the evapotranspiration in the area where the crop is cultivated, the grower should have a proper knowledge on these limited rainfall and irrigation water. Both these two, it decides, or it leads to reduction in depth of water availability, and thereby we can go in for finalizing the irrigation interval. So for irrigation of the banana plantations, during hot period, it should be done for every 3 to 4 days. And in cool weather, it can be done once in a week. So this weather, you can go, this will not be the same for all the places where banana is cultivated. So it is again depends upon the soil condition where it is cultivated and the climate. So what is the temperature prevailing over there? And so it depends. So water holding capacity, all these things we should have understanding or thorough knowledge, and based on that, the grower or the person can go in for fixing the irrigation frequency. So we say banana is a crop which needs more amount of water. Yeah, it needs a crop which relishes water, but it is a crop which cannot withstand water stagnation also. So excess water, if anything is present, then it is also deleterious to banana. So one should have a proper knowledge on the soil condition. Okay, providing good drainage facility to drain excess water, to drain excess water from the root zone is also equally important. So this is very important because poor drainage is deleterious, and overwatered banana plants, the growth may cease, and therefore, and excess water, if it is present in the root zone, it deprives the roots from oxygen. Therefore, respiration of the roots is reduced, and it may also cause finally irreversible damage. That is, it may lead to the final death of the plant. So, drainage is very important to ensure that the soil's oxygen level is maintained, and also for improving the biological activity in the soil. That is, microbial population should also be maintained, which will again help in the proper development of the root as well as the plant. So we should understand it is a crop which needs more amount of water, and at the same time it is the crop which is to water stagnation. So proper, you need to give proper judicious irrigation, as well as you need to check whether proper drainage is available. So apart from this, high humidity, it also facilitate the development of pathogens and the weeds. All these will happen. And coming to the types of drainage system, so you can go in for open or underground system. And again, the choice, it depends upon the type of soil. So porosity, permeability and texture, rainfall, topography, everything, all these factors, again, it checks which type of drainage should be adapted. And open range should be maintained well to ensure proper functioning, whereas underground system requires a higher initial investment, but it requires less maintenance. So coming to the different systems of irrigation, we all know in conventional banana plantation, earlier we have been following flood irrigation or furrow irrigation. So after that, in this flood or furrow irrigation, it is practiced in, again, it differs according to the system of cultivation. Flood or furrow irrigation is practiced in garden land system, and trench irrigation is followed in wetland system. And nowadays we go in for drip irrigation. So all these different types of irrigations, different systems of irrigation is available, and it is also practiced in places and according to the water availability and according to the system. And each system has its merits, own merits and demerits. So flood or furrow irrigation, this is the most common method of irrigation which is practiced under garden land cultivation. Here, the water consumption is very high and is costly, and here it is not used for distribution of water and fertilizers. Trench irrigation, popular method of irrigation under wetland system of cultivation. Water is allowed to stand in the trenches open between every 2 rows, and this is mainly followed in, for example, in Tamil Nadu under Kaveri Delta region. This type of irrigation system is followed, and here the trench is used for dual purpose. One is for irrigating, and another one is second thing is this also used for draining out the excess water during the rainy days. And the next system is your drip irrigation. It is the latest system, or it is the advanced system where here the uniform and precise amount of water is directly applied to the root zone of the plants as per the requirement. And in the system, water is applied drop by drop. We can also call it as trickle irrigation, or it is drop by drop water is applied, and it may be applied on the surface or below or in the subsurface region also, and at a rate lower than the infiltration rate of the soil. So based upon, for example, if the soil is porous, there we can go in for irrigating for lesser time, and frequency you can increase. So based upon the soil type, here you can you can adjust the frequency. And here the main principle in drip irrigation that we should understand is that is here soil moisture content is always maintained at field capacity. So maintenance of soil moisture at field capacity is very important. Why? Because the roots will be able to absorb sufficient water, and that will help in the growth and development of the plant. That is, wilting or the water stress will not happen, and crops grow at a faster rate and in a consistent manner and also in a uniform manner. And we all know that we have so many results or reports that banana and drip irrigation perform better in growth, and the yield was also comparatively higher when compared to that of other surface irrigation methods. So this is a chart or a table which represents how much of water should be applied. For example, you can classify the growth stage of banana into 6 stages, where it is after planting, that is it comprises of from planting to 4th week, that is up to 1 month, and juvenile phase from 5th month to 9th month, hardly 2 months old, and critical stage 10 to 19th week, and flower differentiation stage, that is 20th to 32nd week, and shooting stage from 33 to 37th week, and bunch development stage from 38 to 50 weeks. So here, according to the crop growth stage, here the quantity or the water requirement, it also differs. So during the first crop growth stage, that is after planting, if we apply 4 liters of water, that will be sufficient. And during the juvenile phase, we can go in for application of 8 to 10 liters of water per day per plant. So this is the recommendation. And critical stage, it is about 12 liters per day per plant. And flower differentiation stage, that is like here you can go in for application of 16 to 20 liters per day per plant. And shooting and bunch development stage, you can go in for 20 and above liters of water. And before harvest, that is 10 to 15 days before harvest, that is otherwise 2 days before harvest, we can go in for withholding the irrigation. This is the recommendation. That is after planting, you should go in for, you should supply at least 4 liters. It is not rigid. You have to give 4 liters. If it is rainy season, you can avoid, but the crop at this stage, it requires 4 liters. That is the thing. And this can be judged, or the either less or more amount of water can be judged based upon the climatic situation which is prevailing and the crop growth stage at that particular period. And next, coming to nutrient requirement. We all know this is a crop, so which needs or which feeds high amount of nutrient. So it is a crop. Banana is the important fruit crop where the productive potential is very high when compared to other fruit crops. So here you will be able to harvest nearly 60 tons per hectare. So this, when the amount of nutrient what we provide, that will be reflected in the yield. So crop growth as well as yield, it depends on nutrient availability as well as uptake by the plant. So it requires higher fertilization, that is higher fertilizer input due to its rapid and vigorous growth and high fruit yield or high productivity. So some of the nutrient studies, it has revealed that uptake per unit area is more in case of banana when we compare other fruit crops. So for example, when a banana plantation is able to produce 40 to 60 tons of yield, in such a case, the whole plantation will remove nearly 250 to 300 kg of nitrogen, 25 to 40 kg of phosphorus, 800 to 1200 kg of potassium, 150 to 180 kg of calcium, 40 to 60 kg of magnesium, and 14 to 20 kg of sulfur per hectare. So this much amount of nutrients or this much amount of mineral elements will be removed by the plant for producing an yield of about 40 to 60 tons. So from this data, you can understand this is a crop which needs more amount of potassium. So potassium is very important, and it is the main element which determines the yield as well as the quality of the crop it is produced. Okay, so the fertilizer applied, the ratio between nitrogen and potassium application should be in the ratio of 1:3. And apart from this, the nutrient what we supply or the recommended dose or the dose of nutrient to be applied, it again depends on various factors like variety, so initial soil fertility where the crop is cultivated, the climate which is prevailing the place where a banana is cultivated, and the system of cultivation. So for example, here I have given the details on the fertilizer requirement. This is the recommendation given for different systems of cultivation, banana cultivation by TNAU. So here for garden land cultivation, when we go in for varieties, also all the varieties except Nendran, where we recommend 110:335:330 gram of NPK per plant per year. For Nendran, it is 150:90:300 gram of NPK per plant per year. So when we go for wetland, the same Nendran, here we recommend a somewhat higher dose of nitrogen and lesser dose of phosphorus and higher dose of potassium. That is, these are all based on the researches which has been done earlier. And 210:35:450 gram of NPK is required for Nendran when it is cultivated under wetland situation. For Rastali, 210:50:390. For Puven and Robusta, here we recommend 160:50:390. So from this, we can understand that for the same variety, when it is grown in a different system of cultivation, the requirement also varies. And as far as banana is concerned, when it is cultivated, when it is propagated, or when it is done, when we use suckers as the planting material. So at the time of planting, the suckers will be devoid of roots. So we'll plant the suckers. We'll go in for application of only farmyard manure 10 kg per pit or vermicompost maybe 3 to 5 kg per pit, along with this biofertilizers like azospirillum at the rate of 20 gram per pit and phosphobacteria 20 gram per pit. And as far as banana is concerned, the suckers will be able to produce roots only by the end of 6th or 7th week of planting. And when we go in for application on the third month after planting, so whatever the fertilizer we apply, it will be absorbed by the plant effectively. So as far as banana is concerned, we say that this recommended dose, we go in for application of N and K in split doses, that too in 3 split doses at 3rd, 5th, and 7th month of planting. And we all know this N is required for the proper vegetative growth of the plant and for proper leaf development and for proper vigorous growth. And K is required for activity, or otherwise we can say for the bunch development. And this phosphorus is required for root development, and therefore phosphorus is applied, full dose of phosphorus is applied, that is 35 gram of phosphorus is applied by 3rd month after planting. So this is the fertilizer recommendation for banana when it is it is propagated by suckers. And as far as hill banana is concerned, so we recommend application of 375 gram of NPK mixture, that is which consists of about 40:30:40. That is the ratio in which NPK is mixed. And in that mixture, the 375 gram we have to take, and it has to be applied. It has to be applied with 130 gram of muriate of potash, that is KSOS, per clump per application. And this also to be done in 3 splits, that is during October, January, and April. So this is the recommendation what we from TNAU give, and this is for an understanding how the same variety, when it is cultivated under different situations or different systems of cultivation, there will be a difference in the recommended dose. So now we come to fertigation. So we all know it is a crop which requires high fertilizer or a high amount of nutrient is required. And I have told you that is this N and K should be applied in 3 split doses, 3rd, 5th, and 7th month. And this P should be applied on 3rd month. And here, phosphorus, it has another one important aspect, that is, it is very important for floral differentiation. So we all know that in banana, in the inflorescence or the floral differentiation, it takes place in the heart of the sucker. That is when the pseudostem grows in the heart of the sucker, in the pseudostem. So this floral differentiation takes place. And in banana, you can understand that this takes place even from 3rd to 4th month. That is why we say or we recommend that it is very important for application. That is, the farmer or the grower should not miss application of these fertilizers. That is 3rd, 5th, and 7th month of fertilizer application is mandatory, and it is very compulsory. And this is very important if a farmer or a grower needs to get good yield. And if the one who misses the fertilizer application either on 3rd or 5th month, and if they want to apply on 7th, 9th, or 11th month, that will not have any direct effect on the yield. So this floral differentiation, sufficient amount of nutrient requirement is needed. And if it is needed for floral differentiation, that is what I mean to say is that if, for example, we take granite, so the granite will be able to produce, or a bunch of granite will sufficiently have 10 to 11 hands. So if proper fertilization is not given, that differentiation of hands, that is 10 or 11 hands, we may not be able to get a bunch with good 10 to 11 hands. There may be a reduction in hands. So many of the growers, they are unaware of all these things, and therefore this proper application of nutrient during 3rd, 5th, and 7th month is very important when they are growing for conventional system of management. And now we say that drip irrigation, it helps in water saving. 25 to 30% of the water can be saved. And another thing is we go in for that frequency we can increase, or this amount of water to be applied, that also we can control. All these things are there. Those are the advantages. And coming to fertigation, so drip irrigation, it also has another important advantage. We can also mix the fertilizer along with the irrigation water, and thereby we can judiciously use the fertilizers also. So fertigation, it gives flexibility in application of fertilizers to meet specific crop requirements at various stages of growth. That is, at specific crop growth stages. For example, if we go in for soil application of fertilizers, what we say, we have to apply at 3rd month, 5th month, and 7th month. When you apply on the 3rd month, that is, for example, that is on 9th week after planting. So that fertilizer, whatever you give, so you give urea as nitrogen source. So all the fertilizer what we apply may not be utilized by the plant. There may be a loss by leaching, or by volatilization, or by fixation. So in such cases, when we go in for applying fertilizers through fertigation, this fertilizer use efficiency can be increased, and the plant will also get continuously the supply of nutrients, and it may directly impact or reflect on the crop vigorous crop growth, as well as the enhanced productivity of the crop. So here, when you go in for fertigation, so we can recommend application of N in the form of urea and K in the form of muriate of potash. These two are straight fertilizers, and they are highly suitable for application through fertigation. So MOP may be dissolved in water, and there may be sometimes the turbidity when you mix MOP, it may not dissolve completely. In such cases, you can go in, you may dissolve in water and keep overnight, and then that can be filtered and it can be used. And whereas phosphorus, we don't go in for applying phosphorus through drip. So it is recommended only through soil application. So this is the table where you can understand how this fertilizer, this NPK requirement of banana can be applied through fertigation. So from 9th to 18th week, that is, this is 9th week, it is the starting of 3rd month. So when we go in for soil application, we'll be applying, for example, here 25, let us have it is 25 gram of nitrogen. So this, all these 25 gram of nitrogen will be applying to the plant at a single stroke. Whereas when you go in for fertigation, so we can go in such a way that is, you can split into 10 weeks. So that is, per application, you can go in for around 2.48 or approximately 2.5 gram per week. So when we go in for application in such small quantities, and even you can further split, you can go in for even 2 applications per week. So that is, in such cases, you can go in for 1.25 gram of nitrogen per week per plant. So when we go in for smaller quantity and the frequent irrigation, so there will not be any loss of the nutrient what we apply to the plant, and the plant will also be able to absorb 100% of the nutrients what we apply. So another one advantage here is, though we recommend the RDF as 110:35:330 gram of nitrogen, 330 gram of NPK per plant. Here, when we go in for this fertigation, that is drip fertigation, we can reduce N and K by about 25%. So that is, since the loss of nutrients we will be able to control, and thereby there is a reduction in quantity of nutrients what we apply. And this P is again, it is applied only through soil application. So this is, the grower can split into even, it does need not to be 10 weeks, and even they can go in for, according to the crop growth stages, they can calculate the quantity of specific nutrient to be applied, and that maximum frequency they can go in. So thereby this nutrient loss can be reduced. And though we say so many water soluble fertilizers are available, that is, water soluble fertilizers are nothing but solid fertilizers. They are completely soluble in water. So liquid ammonium nitrate, ammonium sulfate, and urea, they are the source for nitrogen. Phosphorus, phosphoric acid, potassium, liquid potassium nitrate, and liquid potassium chlorate for iron and zinc. We go in for chelated compound. The thing is, when we go in for water soluble fertilizer, one disadvantage is the cost of the fertilizer. So for a grower, so where here in India we discuss only small scale farmers, banana is not cultivated in a commercial larger plantation. When we go in for packets that is less than 2 or 3 acres, in such cases we can recommend our straight fertilizers, urea and MOP, instead of these water fertilizers. The thing is, here water fertilizers you can use, but the cost involved will be high. Then the next one is methods of fertigation. So what are all the methods of this fertigation can be done? This you would have you would have been knowing, that is bypass pressure tank method you can go, and Venturi system, and direct injection system. So these are the systems by which you can go in for application of fertilizers through this fertigation method. So this bypass pressure tank, this is a method which employs a tank into which the liquid fertilizer is kept, or a dry fertilizer is kept, and the tank is connected to the main irrigation line by means of a bypass, so that some of the irrigation water flows through the tank and dilutes the fertilizer solution. So this works on about pressure gradient between the entrance and the exit of the tank, and by which the fertilizer is supplied to the crop. And the Venturi injector, this is the common method of fertigation what most of the growers in India we follow. Here, the rate of injection can be regulated by means of valves, and it is simple and relatively inexpensive when compared to other fertigation methods. Here, a constriction in the main water flow pipe increases the water flow, thereby causing a pressure differential vacuum, which is sufficient to suck fertilizer solution from an open reservoir into the water stream. So this and all you would have seen in your practical classes in the field. And this, when comparing these three methods, this Venturi is commonly practiced. And the next one is direct injection system. This method, in this method, a pump is used to inject fertilizer solution. So the type of pump used is dependent on the power source. So electric current is needed, and somewhere hydraulic pump is also used, and the injection rate of fertilizer solution is proportional to the flow of water into the system. It is a high degree of control over the injection rate is possible. No serious head loss occurs, and operating cost is also low. So it is a highly sophisticated system, and this involves much cost when compared to that of the Venturi. And what are the criteria for applying the fertilizers? So whatever the fertilizer you choose, it should there should not be any corrosion and softening of plastic pipe tubing or clogging of any component of the system, and it should be safe, and it should increase, or at least it should increase, and there should not be any reduction in the crop yield, and it should be soluble or emulsifiable in water, and it does not react adversely to salts or other chemicals in the irrigation water. So in addition, it should be uniformly distributed throughout the field, and the chemicals must be completely soluble, and it should also be compatible with the other salts contained in the irrigation water. So the intake or suction side of the injector should be also equipped with a filter or strainer, and injection points must be installed so that injected fertilizers are properly mixed before the flow divides in several directions. So all these things are very important. And then coming to the merits of fertigation. So we here now, though we say this conventional irrigation method and conventional application of fertilizers, now as soil application, now we going for this combination of drip as well as fertigation. So what are the merits of this drip fertigation? So we all know there is an increase in yield, minimum of 25 to 30%. And there is a saving of fertilizer by about 25 to 30%, and precise application of fertilizers is possible. And apart from precise application, whatever the fertilizer applied, it also uniformly distributed. So around the root zone, it is also uniformly distributed, and uniformly distributed to all the plants in the field. And nutrient requirements can be fulfilled as per physiological stages. That is, according to the stage, if you want to apply more amount of nitrogen for that particular week, you can go in for giving more amount of urea. And when potassium is needed, that flexibility is there in case of this drip fertigation. And there is not much loss in nutrient, that is by leaching or fixation or volatilization. And you can mix major and micronutrients, and it can be applied as a one solution. And as per required concentration, we can do. And it improves the efficiency of fertilizer as well as water. And there is a saving in time, labor, as well as energy. And even soils where this soils are very light and where water holding capacity is very less. In such cases, those land can also be brought under cultivation of banana, where we have to, more frequency of irrigation is to be done. So that is possible. And coming to the demerits, so sometimes there will be toxicity to the field workers and chance of backflow into the water source, and for which proper maintenance is very important, whether the unit is functioning in a proper way and whether it mixes properly, whether there is clogging is not present. That is, continuous checking is important, and maintenance is very important. And for insoluble fertilizers like superphosphate, it cannot be used. In such cases, we have to go in for soil application only. And sometimes that is when there is difference in pH, so there may be a clogging and precipitation may happen that may result in clogging in the pipeline as well as in the drip. And when compared, it is when you go in for using of water soluble fertilizers, so the cost involved is high. But however, the advantages has to be taken into account and it has to be properly managed for effective. Whenever we go in for sophisticated or somewhat sophisticated technologies, in such cases, this proper maintenance and proper care should be given. That is very important. And with proper maintenance and with the proper understanding of the soil, climate, and the other factors which is involved in banana production, so by judiciously applying irrigation water through drip and fertilizers through this drip fertigation, it may help in increasing or enhancing the yield of the crop. So this is very important. And so thank you very much for patient listening. And if there is any question, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
So I request students, if you have any doubts, please.
I think no questions, Harsha.
Yes. I think no one has posted, madam.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So thank you very much, madam.
Okay, sir.
So shall we conclude, sir?
Yeah, you can conclude. And
I think no more questions.
Madam, we will mail the questions, madam, for the clarification of the students.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Kavitha,
Thank you, sir.
for readily accepting my request to be the resource person for this program. I think the topic is well covered with excellent slides and explanation. Certainly, the students got benefited from.
So
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
madam, on behalf of organizing committee, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to Dr. C.Kavitha, madam, working as assistant secretary in Coimbatore, by giving a good lecture, delivering a good lecture on irrigation and irrigation in banana. Madam has explained in detail all aspects and covered on all points regarding irrigation and aspects in banana. Thank you much. So, and I also convey my sincere thanks to all participants, especially students and scientists from HRS Kovur and other from different stations. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.